Wow, what a day today is, because it is today, and here we are. Welcome to Hear It From the Bear with Spirit of the Bear. Today, we have some special guests. We have 90s kids.
We have
from
90 children in our
we have 90 of them. They will be showing up every once in a while. If you can spot them, let us know.
We rotate out in groups of 3, so...
No, but we have 90s kids from Columbus with us today. If you guys could give names and say your parts. And
Yeah, I'm Matt. I play the keys. I'm Corey. I sing.
And I'm Jordan. I play the drums.
Beautiful. We're missing our very own Jamie Vitullo today, so press an F in the chat for Jamie. He's looking at a house so that he can live in a house, because he got kicked out of his
House
previous
living.
apartment.
Somewhat important.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right. So, let's begin with an actual discussion. 90s Kids just put out a single. Let's talk about that for a second. Freak Me Out just came out, along with the music video. So if you guys want to just start by kind of giving a rundown of that song. And I know you guys had said in some previous posts that it was your favorite 90s Kids song that you guys had worked on thus far. So what does that kind of mean to you guys to finally put it out and finally have it?
Yeah, so I'll start. I think what's so special about that song for us is we kind of found ourselves in a bit of a songwriting funk for a while, where we were trying to be a bunch of things, towards the end of last year, trying to be a bunch of things that maybe we're not, and trying to explore new areas that just weren't working, and just the writer's block really set in. Like sometimes when all that frustration kicks in, it just compounds and gets worse. But when you finally get out of it, it's really, really cool, because you seem to find like an epiphany or this moment where you're like, that's it, that's the sound, that's where we're going. And that's what Freak Me Out was it was kind of the culmination of all of these failed efforts and all these different, avenues we were exploring. And then, that chorus, You Really Freak Me Out, just came, and right from there, everything just kind of came into place. It was probably the song that wrote itself the most naturally that we've written in years, and just the energy that chorus has and that song has, I think just speaks a lot to the vibe of what 90s Kids was and what we are and where we're going as well. So it's kind of a really cool stamp in time for the band as a whole.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you
the
guys
song
talk
and
for
the
a
video
second
kick ass,
on-
by the
oh,
way.
wait.
Sorry to interject.
Sorry,
What's
Dan. What'd you say?
Oh, I was going to say, no, the video and the song kick ass, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, sweet. I was gonna say, can you speak for a second on the production process specifically of that song? Because even I know that the day it came out, well, first of all, the production at least is like really excellent on that song as far as like
Chris.
Thank
pop
you.
production goes. And
Yeah.
I even one of my friends from school that I went to school with, Mario, he worked a bit on our new album, but he's like a really great pop producer, and he's really big on like pop production. And he texted me the day you guys put the song out, and he was like, new 90s Kids song has amazing production. So I feel like I owe it to my friend Mario to ask how that went.
I will start, and I need to hand it off to this guy to my left to explain, but typically what'll happen is I'll come up with some idea and just kind of basic structure of some song, and I had some guitars and some vocals and the group vocal stuff, and the song felt pretty good, and then I bounced out stems and sent it out to Matt, and this is kind of like the process for all of our stuff, and this was really one of the first songs in a long time, if not the very first, that we fully self-produced. We didn't use anybody else, and I think The cool thing about this one was just letting Matt just kind of run wild, and especially like with the verses and the little things in between the vocals and the choruses that he did. I'll let him talk a little bit about that, but I think that's kind of like what makes the song really and glues it together. So
yeah, I think the song was all really about growth for us as a band, and like we started this song back in like January, February. So like we had a lot of time to work on it, and we've been listening to a lot of people. Like Jeremy Zucker was like a huge influence in terms of production. He's like very good at like going to these like making these super intricate like details and like shit like you don't normally hear, but like when you piece all those little pieces together, like if you took them out, like you take something away. So I watched like a lot of production videos on him and like some other people, and I just really focus on just lots of sample manipulation and like stuff like that, and just like experimenting. Like me and him go in like different rooms and like produce by ourselves a lot. So I think that really just gives us a lot of time to just like experiment, because he works really fast workflow wise, and I'm more of like definitely take my time and experiment. So like I think that's what was really good about this song. It's just taking that time, just trying stupid shit that like if you're sitting there for like an hour, somebody would be like, what are you doing? But then like,
That's where the best stuff comes from,
yeah. But when you figure something out, like something super cool, or just like one small vocal chop after working on it for 2 hours, like it's sick. And I think there was like a lot of that in this song, so I was super pumped about that.
That's really cool to hear too, especially because like that it does seem like this is like your guys' best song production wise, at least in my opinion. This is kind of the farthest you guys have seemingly come production wise, and it is also coincidentally your first time without outside producers. So I think that kind of speaks to the idea of just like being able to have time to work on something yourself when you're not influenced by like an outside collaborator.
Yeah, and I think like what's super cool about that is like it's kind of like we just took the training wheels off a little bit, and it's not. I don't know that we ever needed them, or we didn't need them as long as probably we had them, right? We're so grateful to have worked with all the producers that we worked with, and we still are going to continue to work with other people, because collaboration has been like the key to what's made us successful so far. But to be able to then come home and produce these things by ourselves, where we take those training wheels off and just kind of throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. We've got a couple other singles lined up that are, the self-produced thing, self-recorded thing, just like this one. And I think there's like a consistency to the production in these songs that I don't think that we had found yet. I think we were kind of like meandering around kind of different production techniques and different styles, and then when we kind of got together and just said, hey, let's just put our own heads together, no outside influences, and kind of like put to the test what we've learned, it kind of clicked into place. So we've got Freak Me Out, and then we've got 2 or 3 more that are going to be dropping before the end of the year that are all kind of that self-produced vibe, and really, really excited to see kind of how things continue to grow with that.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's it. We for our upcoming album, we kind of did everything in shop as well with production and that kind of stuff. So it's cool to hear that you guys you did the same thing and you had a really successful output from it. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's what I think is so cool is we've been following you guys for a while, and I think that obviously we played together at the Basement. God, that was
A long time ago.
8 months ago now.
It was
Too long.
feels
Almost
like
a year ago.
Feels like
Yeah.
5 years or something.
And it's just like we knew you guys were awesome and loved your music and stuff, but also like the reaction that our fans gave to you guys made us want to continue to check out your back catalog even further than we had. And I think we all just listened again and watched the video tonight for Summer Snow, which we all thought is really, really cool and has
Sick.
this sort of like mishmash of different influences that you can hear, but it's not like you're ripping anything off. It feels so original because there's so many different pieces at play, and it's just got this warmth to it that's like, I like that, and I could hear that in a movie,
Like
right?
glass animals hippocampus.
Yeah,
that
for
kinda-
sure.
That kinda
Pretty
vibe.
much nailing
Thank
it.
you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I also
Sick.
wanted to ask about, in turn, your guys' music video, which I know you had said you shot all in your living room or in your bedroom or something, but you can't even tell. So it's kind of, that also speaks to like, especially now during this time when we can't play shows and we all kind of have to get creative with the content that we're putting out. It's kind of amazing what you guys managed to do with like a white sheet in your living room. Can you talk a bit maybe about that process of making that video?
I'll hand it off and let somebody else
Oh, you want me?
think
Okay.
about it.
Basically, yeah, we got together with our good friend Alex Geiger. Big ups to Alex. Dude is a genius with a camera.
Legend.
And we had gotten together, it was like a Saturday, to take promo photos for Freak Me Out. And, you know, we were like drinking, getting a little tipsy, just like hanging out. And we had almost finished all of the photo shoot. And all of a sudden, Alex was like, you guys just want to do like a music video for this? Because we were already shooting like video content for the Spotify canvas. And we were like, let's just do it.
Yeah, might as
so
well.
basically we bought like this professional backdrop because we have like a pretty big living room, and we just set it up in our living room. It was all white, and he just shot it, and we just got creative with it.
And I will piggyback and say I think the coolest part about watching and why this video works is obviously the editing. I think being creative and using kind of the tile editing and kind of creative little transitions. And what's really cool to watch when you're watching Geiger film. We did a lot of like individual performance takes, and then we did just like full group shots of us just like screwing around and pushing each other around and giving piggyback rides and stuff. But like when I was like watching the other guys like do their individuals, you'll watch Geiger, with the camera, and he will physically like twist the camera over or like flip the camera upside down really quick, and he actually edits that into the video so that it looks like it's like scooping up into the next shot. And a lot of people, I think, do that on the editing floor, but he literally does it with his camera, and it always looks that much more natural because it looks like you're just like shifting perspective into a new shot. And just watching him like filming Robbie just going ham, and like in the middle of the shot he would just be like flipping his camera side and side and stuff. I was just like, I've never seen anybody shoot a video like this. But the results are just so cool to watch. Like somebody doing something creative like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that What were you gonna say, Ethan?
I was just gonna say I was gonna definitely comment on like the slide kind of visuals that you have throughout the music video. It's so cool to have like different shots just pop up and then some of them all line up at a certain time. It was like a very clever way to like use your space.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't even take credit for that. I mean, I think it was literally the first cut of the video that he sent us. It was just perfection. But I think what makes it work is that we all, it's a quarantine video. We would have loved to do like a bigger budget thing where, we can have set pieces and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, that video is just us having fun, right? Like just having a few claws and getting tipsy and having fun. And that kind of just no love, baby. And it just kind of like ties back to the song is just such a fun thing for us, and it means so much to us for that regard that I think that's why that video works. So we're really glad that you guys dig it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that hearing you talk about that is kind of the same reaction I had when we were. I feel like we've talked about this on every episode, but the photographer we used for our last photo shoot is named Nick Fancher, and he is a similar way where he didn't do any of those. So I don't know if you guys have seen the photos we've been putting out. It's like the theme we went for this single was like a beige background with and we're all like lit up in red. And the way he did that was there was no post-production on those photos. Those photos were straight into the camera. So the way he has his studio set up is just like a white wall, and he has a big light behind us and then a couple lights in front of us, and it's literally like the room is just like naturally lit, and then he like lines up the shot and clicks it, and the flashes all go off on the lights. So the two lights in front of us flashed red, and the light behind us flashed that kind of like tan color. And then that's the photo. Like that was it. He did some like contrast and some like added noise to it in post, and then just sent us the file. So it's like the same kind of thing where it's that practical effect editing, and it always ends up cooler than it would if you just did it after the fact, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it looks so good too with the vibe of your single. I will.
For real.
I guess what I want to know is, I mean, was that your creative vision, or was that a collaborative effort between you and was it Fancher, Nick
Nick
Fancher?
Fancher, yeah.
Was that kind of your two collaboration, or was that sort of like a vision that you guys had going in?
It was kind of, for the upcoming album, this will be something that we end up talking about like a couple months down the road when we're ready to roll the rest of the record out. But we have the graphic artist we worked with for the new record is named Nick Dapolito, and he did all the single art, and he did all the album art, which you'll see at some point later. But for the album, we got 4 alternate covers for the album, and they're all the same thing, but there's just like slight variations on them based on the seasons. So there's one that's like a spring, there's one that's summer, there's one that's fall, and there's one that's winter. So the summer one was that color scheme. It was that exact color scheme because I gave the photographer the album art file, and he literally said, okay, the red light is going to be this exact color of the album cover, and the background is going to be the exact color that's on the album cover. And then so that was really all I gave him, was the color. Like I gave him like the palettes for the color, and he set us up and arranged us and had pretty much all the other ideas. We had some
I
other.
think we had there was a couple things that we like hopped in on
Yeah, there was some.
as far as like
the outfits.
effects.
We
Yeah,
grabbed a bunch of plants too.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
plants.
plants, yeah.
The plants were Nick's idea, and the outfits were my girlfriend Savannah. She picked all our outfits for that, and then other than that, yeah, he kind of took the reins on that. But yeah, so it was pretty collaborative.
The plants are vibey as hell. I love those.
Yeah.
And I think that's super cool that you guys just gave him like sort of the schemes that you were looking at, the colors that you were looking at, and he just helped you realize that vision. And there was minimal editing even, which is super cool.
For sure, yeah. Some of the later seasons, because we did like that same thing where the album, we have 4 alternate seasonal covers, and then we did 4 separate sets of photos, one for each season. So like later in the year, we'll roll out the fall aesthetic or whatever, and that matches the colors of the fall artwork. And then the winter one, the same thing. And we used some projector effects too. Like there was some stuff where he's like projecting stuff onto us, and
Yes.
It all turns out
I've
really
seen
cool.
those photos before. Those are sick. I love
yeah,
those.
he's an amazing photographer. But I think we talked about Nick Fancher for like 20 minutes on the part.
He does good work. He does.
But he's the man.
Hell yeah.
So you guys said you have more singles coming. Do you have a date for like the next one, or are you just kind of like chilling at the moment?
We have a date in mind that we can't say yet, but it's very soon. It's still in that summer window.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Songs done, everything. We're getting art finalized at this moment, and then just gonna push it out. And I think, like, in the past, it's been more of like the slow burn approach, where it's like single, then 8 to 12 weeks of promotion of that single, and then cycle after cycle. But now, it's quarantine. You can't play shows. The only way to keep your audience engaged is to put out content. And we've been sitting on this stuff for such a while now that it's like, screw it. Let's do the thing. Let's put it out. So yeah, sometime in late summer, and then we'll do an early fall, and then one more after that. Probably, I think we're looking at 3 more singles probably
Sweet.
up through November, and then who knows for 2021?
Yeah.
Just making it up as we go along.
Yeah, at this point, that's all you can ask. Because we finished our album in February. We got the masters back like the first week of February.
Damn.
We've had
Oh, wow.
the photos. Those photos, we took those photos in October.
Wow.
Oh my God.
We got the artwork done in October, and then we got the masters done in February. So
So are you guys just like itching to get this thing out?
it's disgusting.
Dude, it's been a process. It's been a whole thing, dude.
It's
It's been wild.
It hurts.
Because we originally wanted to release it
that.
like at the end of May, beginning of June,
Yep.
I think, ish. And that obviously got thrown out of the window. And then we were like, okay, we'll do it like in August. And that got thrown out of the window. So now we're just like,
2020.
yeah.
Yeah, what
2020.
we're kind of what we're looking at now is we're getting our next music video finished up, which is something we're really excited about. It's kind of the most epic thing we've ever done. It's gonna be kind of like a 7 to 8 minute short film type thing.
Wow.
And it's
Okay.
so we're kind of trying to figure out how to best promote that, and then from there it's just gonna be one song at a time for a few months, and then we're gonna put the album out.
I was gonna say, is it a release strategy thing, or is it just you're just like, we're gonna wait? Like what?
And there's definitely a whole strategy we've been working on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
at first it was just let's wait, because we had the whole tour booked with Silmar and Harbor that got canceled, and that was really a big part of our promotional idea.
Okay.
And then from there we kind of were just like dejected for a couple months. We were like, oh my god, I don't know what we're supposed to do now. And then we kind of talked about it, and we were like, all right, let's start putting stuff out. So Summer Snow is kind of just the dipping our toes in the water, kind of trying to figure out what the best way to promote is going to be. So like we're trying a lot of different things with this song that we've never done before. We're running a PR campaign. We're about to start running like a big Facebook and Instagram ad campaign that's really in depth, which is something we've never really gotten into. So we're gonna try to just see what sticks, and then have a better idea going forward of what is gonna happen. Because at this point, it's like, we have nothing to lead up to except for the album, which we can put out whenever we want. So
Yeah, and I mean the whole PR strategy and the ad strategy and stuff like that, I think will just open you guys up to like so many new people will literally have to see your music scrolling through their feed, which is awesome. And
For sure.
that's what
Emphasis
works, man.
on
It works.
emphasis on have to, which
Yeah.
is the way I like it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the stage I'm in right now. Is like, because you can't make money playing right now as an indie band. So the only way to make the money back that we've spent on making this album and on the merch and on the promotion is to sell the merch. So it's kind of like that's our new focus. Is like, how are we gonna sell this merch?
Right.
Get our internet presence,
So we're trying
internet clout big.
to figure that out.
We're gonna start.
It helps. That's for sure.
We all just
Does
got on
help.
TikTok. It's gonna be great.
One purchase equals one clout.
Very good.
Yeah.
Point.
The one question, like, I mean, in my mind for you guys, right, is I think as bands, like, we have very different strategies where I think most of your guys' releases, or at least a few of your guys' releases, have been multi-track releases up to this point. You've done EPs, and now you're doing an album, whereas we are kind of like half finish an idea, then throw it away for the next idea until the single comes, until we can really one up ourselves, and then we drop that, and then keep just build up singles and drop them one at a time. I guess what is interesting to me about the album writing process is, for you guys, did you write like 20, 30 demos and then whittle it down, or was it kind of one of those things where when it was done, you just knew that was the collection of songs? Like, how did that whole process work?
Well, I mean, to speak for myself at least, I've always been, ever since I started to kind of enjoy music, really like enjoy my own music. Like, that point when you're maybe 13 or 14 and you're like, oh, this is my music, these are my bands that I like. I think when I hit that point, it was like I really gravitated towards the full album experience kind of thing. And I think that is the same to an extent for all of us. And this time it was more intentional than it's ever been, really. We basically kind of went in with, I don't know, a lot of demos. How many would you guys say? Like, we had a folder with
I'd say 15 tops.
15 or so, just like scraps. And then we went to Kentucky for a week last July, and it was probably like 8 days, and we got this cabin that was kind of as isolated as we could possibly find. And we just took all those demos and said, let's try to write all of these into songs. And we ended up that week scrapping a lot of them, and some songs we pretty much just came up with 100% at the cabin, and then some of them, like Summer Snow, was already pretty complete, and we took that one and really finished it. So this new album was really like, okay, let's make an album. And we did keep it in the back of our heads that we needed singles, though. So like Summer Snow, we were always like, this is going to be a single. And then we kind of it snowballed to the point where we had enough songs to like do an album. So we were like, might as well just put them in an album. But it was very intentional, especially with that trip we took to like write the album, which is something we haven't done before. So
That is super cool to us, and it's something we've been talking about doing.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
it was incredible, yeah.
So 8 days, you guys didn't want to kill each other, and you did it. Did it help the creativity? Like, did it?
So like how it like a day usually went, like we didn't ever make like scheduled times or like plan it for when we were gonna work, but we would get up around like 9 to 10 and then have like an hour in the morning just to do whatever until we would just start playing. Like we would honestly, one of us would like start going to their instrument and start playing a part for something or doing something, and we would then all like get together and start playing. And then we had like a morning session for like 4 to 5 hours, and then we'd take a break, eat dinner, and then
Go to the lake.
do something else, and then we
Yeah.
would maybe do a night session.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'd
ask.
say-
So there was like a lake, like there was
There
like
was-
an
Yeah.
outdoor thing for you
Yeah,
to
it
do
was
there.
the way it was kind
Steak
of
Seasoning Beach.
steak seasoning beach. The way it was kind of laid out was like it was in the middle of a national forest, so there was like mountains and stuff. So it was really beautiful, and our cabin was like very out of the way. You go down this like very narrow road, and then from the narrow road you turn down into this even more narrow gravel driveway, which was like it was extremely steep.
Straight
Like we had to
down.
push Jamie's car back up the hill when we left.
Oh my god.
And then the cabin was down there, and it was like the kind of thing where it was just surrounded by trees, and you couldn't see any other houses really. And we had a grill, and that was important. And the lake was, so to get into town to get groceries and stuff was like a half-hour drive, and then getting to the lake was maybe 15-20 minutes, and it was like a public lake, but then we kind of found this trail that led to like a beach where no one really was, and that was where we spent most of our time. So we went there every day. I think we went there like at least
I think
a
we went
couple
there
hours
like
a day.
yeah, like 4 or
Yeah.
5 of the days that we were there.
Which is surprising that we didn't end up with a song called Steak Seasoning Beach.
Well, we did have wasps.
Yeah,
which
we
is
do have a song.
directly from events at the cabin.
Yeah,
Oof. Like, so like they were in the cabin. There were wasps in the cabin.
around.
At some points, yeah.
You know, you're nailing it. It was and it was
Knowledge.
Jamie would be the one to speak on it because
Yeah, but he's nice.
He's the most closely tied, and
I'd say the one thing though is we didn't have, like Ethan said, we didn't have strict times. I'd say every day there was at least 6 solid hours of writing / playing / reviewing stuff. And then like I think in retrospect, like going in there, I expected like we would basically have like the whole thing pretty much wrapped up, because like you think about it, it's like if you have a week isolated and that's the only thing you're doing, but we still came out with literally almost the whole album laid out as far as like parts and instruments and sections. We didn't have like lyrics and stuff, of course,
We had
which
some.
we had some,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, it's amazing how much we got done in that period. Like we came out with the album finished besides vocals. I mean, I think so. At least that's what I remember.
For a lot of it, the production process kind of yielded a lot of small changes, but yeah. And as far as like lyrics, like I know that Summer Snow was one of the only ones where I came up with the chorus while we were at the cabin, and Jamie informed some of that, and the same with there's a song called No Heart on the record that Jamie helped me kind of write out, and yeah, there's a few songs, but for the most part the lyrics were written after. But yeah, as far as like to speak to not wanting to kill each other, I think it was just like we were the way we kind of tackled that was just to be as open as possible. Like we got there and we were like, just say what's on your mind and it'll be fine. And we all just said what was on our mind and drank rum and stuff, and so
The secrets come out.
Honesty and alcohol, man.
and I mean, like we had like some mild scuffles, but they were all over music. Like it was like, oh, maybe this section should be 16 bars instead of 8 bars, and then someone was like,
That's
oh,
literally
no.
the only thing. Anything.
Yeah.
I think that was the
Like,
only.
hey, screw
scuffles.
you, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I remember there being any sort of like true tension was we were working on this idea, but like just nothing was happening for like 20 minutes, a half hour, and that was like things were like kind of like
We were just getting stressed
okay, well,
out.
what the fuck do we?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck do we do now?
And then the shape.
But then the icing broke on that, or the ice, not the icing. The ice.
On that pastry.
Reveals the
The
cake.
ice broke, and then we finally figured that out,
And that was-
then we had a song. Yeah,
That was the shape, right?
yep.
Yeah, that one will be out around Halloween.
Eventually.
That's
Maybe.
always the worst, like when you're all in the room working on an idea together and your ears are like destroyed from listening to the same loop for like
Oh, yeah.
a half hour, and you're like, where the hell do we take this? Like, what do we do? And then you all hate each other, and then like, you just go outside for
Yep.
20 minutes.
I mean,
and
that was
come
always
back in.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
We did, Jamie always did this thing where he would just like throw a rock into the woods and then it would make a sound and he would go, or whatever.
I forgot about that.
And that was like one thing that always was like that was something we came back to all week, and
That's amazing.
yeah, it was fun.
Oh
I
my
would
gosh.
recommend if you guys are, if you really are like, oh, we're gonna do an album, then that's the way to go, because it was just so concentrated, and then everything after that was just like more fun, because I was like, oh man, I remember that time at the cabin when we wrote this song, and now I have to sit here and listen to it for 5 hours while I'm mixing it, but I don't mind that much.
But like, I think that's an interesting point that you guys make is, we have typically operated with singles and, amalgamated some ideas of a body of work, but nothing has come out in that fashion for us yet. We've had opportunities to do it, but we haven't thought it's the right time. But as we move into, late 2020 and 2021, the body of work thing, the multi-song body of work, whether it's an extended EP or full length or whatever, I think that idea of truly isolating ourselves is really on the front of our minds, because we all work like the full-time 8 to 5 thing, and then we got to write after work, and we all have responsibilities and girlfriends and things like that, outside of work that we spend time on. So I think if for us, like isolating ourselves and really just saying, hey, here's a week and all you get to do is work on music, that I think it's so cool that it worked out for you guys, and I've seen a lot of other bands actually doing that lately. I think that's such a smart idea to just remove all the distractions.
So then for you guys, it's been more of like a time thing, or like a consistency thing, where it's like, okay, like maybe it's like we want to do an album, but it's like, are we going to really have enough time to like get all of these songs together? Like it's been kind of like a fight with that type of thing.
I think it's more of like an impact thing for us. Like, we feel like for our music, singles sort of just are easier to produce and put out, and they provide more of like a greater return than if we were
for sure.
to put an entire record together. At least right now.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
it's like just the genre of pop and the what's the word I'm looking for? The
demographic.
demographic. The demographic. There we go. Yes, the demographic and all that is. Pop music has like this very immediate nature to it, where it's bite-sized pieces of content coming out more frequently, kind of wins over this vast sort of album type deal, where it's a year or two cycle between releases. And I think what was so interesting about like what James said at the beginning is I think all of us probably grew up in that we miss the age of the full length album. Like I miss waiting 2 years and like that hype for like the next Blink 182 or Foo Fighters album or something like when I was a kid. Like I thought that was so cool because you have so much music to chew on, and nowadays it's like the age of just like immediacy and short attention spans where it's like, hey, new song Friday, and it drops, and then it's like 3 weeks later, like new song Friday kind of thing, and that's kind of, I think that's how people prefer it in our genre.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah,
I think also especially with how music is distributed to people, like streaming versus like buying an album or buying a CD. I think streaming just in general has made it a lot more of like an instant look for the single instead of look for a full album kind of environment.
Yeah.
Fun little anecdote, but the only reason albums are generally 30 to 40 minutes and songs they're like 3 minutes 30 seconds approximately, or like that's what it used to be, is that's how much information you could store on a vinyl disc at a given time. So it was just the limitations of what they had.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was like a technical reason behind it. I thought it was always just like what the radio would allow, like under 4 minutes. But
Nope.
there's like an actual technical limitation to that. That's
It's just how much information
There
you
still
can
is.
store on a
Yeah, I mean,
vinyl,
because we're pressing our new album to vinyl, and
Oh, that's so sick.
I had to cut down like the vinyl master versus the digital master. I had to make sure that the mixes I sent in were like very trim. They were like, you can get 18 minutes on one side of vinyl, so this album has to be 36 minutes. So I had to kind of trim out some of the longer outros, or just like, if there was like a long reverb tail at the end of a song, just like shorten it
Wow.
up, cut off a couple
Damn,
minutes
okay.
off the record. So our album is 36 minutes exactly.
And
It
but
fits on one vinyl.
the digital version though, that's longer, or did you
It's-
actually, is it the same across both?
I mean, it's maybe like 1 minute longer. I just had to like really like
Little nitpicky
yeah,
things.
nitpicky stuff to make sure the vinyl fit, because it's kind of the thing of, if you get longer than that, you have to get a second vinyl, and then it just costs a lot more money to press the vinyl. That's the fact of the matter. And we want to do colored vinyl, which is something we have always wanted to do. So I was like, I'd rather just
Sign
like
me up.
I was like, I'd rather just
Sick.
trim the outros a little bit and get that colored vinyl.
We have like a vinyl wall at our new house, so
Oh, nice.
we'll reserve a spot for you guys when that comes out.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Okay, well, let's see. We usually keep these about an hour, so we've got about 15 minutes, and we had this is something we've never done before, but we have a segment that we want to do.
Oh, yes.
This is-
All right.
No
is-
podcast is complete without a segment.
We never
go.
have segments. We don't do segments, but this week we have a segment, and it comes to you courtesy of Ethan Schwendeman.
All right. So I did a quick Google search of stuff from the 90s. So
Oh my god.
Well, the article specifically is titled "Things Only '90s Kids Will Remember."
Remember.
Is it like a BuzzFeed article?
So are you going to quiz us? Is that what this is?
I don't know if I could quiz you because it has like the answers directly on it, but
And you guys are the only ones that could possibly know.
Yeah, because
But,
you
like,
we
are
are.
'90s kids.
if you guys could just like
we are the embodiment of
Four
the
people in the
90s.
world that will
We're
know.
Spirit of the Bear. We don't know these things. You guys remember.
This is us.
Okay, I'm just gonna list off a couple of them. You could be honest with me if you felt it when you were in the 90s or not. But all right, so feeling like a rock star when you opened a Capri Sun without breaking it.
Huge.
I can see that. Yeah.
Huge at lunch, man.
I think it's more so opening a Capri Sun on the first try with that little skinny ass
True.
straw.
Dude,
I
it was
feel that.
either the straw got bent or like you pierced too much of that hole.
You go through the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to go through the other side, and you just like that just ruins the whole day at the cafeteria. You know, in second grade lunch, it's like that, I look forward to that Capri Sun,
It's
man.
embarrassing, too.
Look forward
Yeah.
to it.
All right, so I'm gonna keep the train going.
I thought it was
Have
funny
you
on
guys
that one.
ever?
I was gonna say I thought it was funny on that one how Mike and Danny pretended like they remembered that, even though they're not '90s kids, so they should by no
Never
means
had a
remember
Capri
that.
that's
Sun
true.
in my lives. Have
only
you
had
guys?
Boring water.
Have you guys ever had something recorded over by a family member on a VHS?
Yes, a lot of times, and a lot of times I was thankful for it too.
Dang.
Because it's like my mom is like, oh, let's look at this baby video of Corey, and then it gets recorded over by my dad, like outside in the woods, like, wow, look at those trees, man. Like, and it's like, oh, thank God, like you're not gonna show my girlfriend this picture of me like taking a bath in the sink or something like that.
That's a good point. I think that when you said that, I was thinking like, oh man, I recorded Jurassic Park when
Yeah.
it was on TV, but my fucking sister skipped it
Oh, yeah.
with her, you know,
fe-
whatever. She wanted to record the new. I don't know, man. I don't know what kids watched. I wasn't even alive.
I feel like that was more of like an early '90s thing. Like, I know that
It was
I was
probably earlier
I was born in
90s.
'94. Like, by the time I was even old enough to like remember something, it was already
Jurassic
like
Park was like
almost
77.
2000.
You said Jurassic Park. What are you smoking, dude?
I'm pretty sure that was in '97, wasn't it, or '94? I can't remember.
Jurassic Park's
Jurassic Park was
93.
pretty.
That was
yeah.
70s. And
No,
No,
like-
Jurassic Park was not 70s.
It was 90s, but I don't think it was
Yeah.
97. There might have been a
okay.
movie in 97.
no rhyme. Also,
Whatever.
going back
I
to
was
our,
2 years old.
our earlier conversation, Jurassic Park, all practical effect, no CGI.
Oh, incredible!
Yeah,
Ah,
exactly.
yeah.
But there are.
And that John Williams soundtrack though was just.
I do
Always
think there
John
was some
Williams,
CGI
always.
though, because wasn't that like the
Probably.
first? I don't remember.
Star
But there
Wars
were a
was
lot
the
of practical
first.
effects. and
Yeah,
special
prequels
effects
was like
movies.
huge with the first CGI.
So
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones was the first movie ever shot entirely on digital.
And also the best movie ever made.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
I was like,
All right, Ethan.
I got one more. All right, we'll do
All right.
one more to tie off this segment. All right, have any of you ever tried to take care of a Tamagotchi?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have not.
Oh yeah.
I had a
Dang.
couple, I think.
If you didn't, and one of us apparently didn't, probably didn't have a childhood. I had a camo Tamagotchi. My
You had a
egg
camo one?
it was so hard. It was sick. People wanted it. It was desirable. It was like
People
I don't know,
want
man, it was rare.
It
I'm
was
pretty sure
desirable.
I had one of those as a kid, but I didn't understand how it worked, so I just like never used it.
We need to find out if they still make those. I think that we should all take it on ourselves to find
I think
out.
they
if
have
still make
apps
them.
now.
Oh, they
I think they have like
absolutely have
Tamagotchi
some.
apps.
They have
I'm on it, don't worry.
It's cool.
eBay.
Also,
It's
it's
so much
weird.
more convenient.
Big
It's also
Pokemon
weird,
guy.
like, it's also weird the difference in. So, like, wait, how old are you guys? Like, 25?
We're between
25,
24 and 26
Okay,
right now.
so like
all of
I'm
us.
22, and I never had a Tamagotchi. That's only a 2 to 4 year difference, but it was like the difference in the things that we experienced is
Yeah,
like pretty huge.
exactly.
Actually.
Yeah, like, and I don't even want to think about what the kids today are doing. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
have no
just
idea.
like it's
Tablets,
all foreign to
iPads.
me. It's crazy. It's like the kids know more about TikTok than we do, and like
For
they're-
for those
I don't
curious,
know,
Tamagotchi is in fact still being sold.
Yeah,
really?
it's
We'll have to
60
look into
bucks.
that.
Thank you for the fact.
$60.
That's
the
a
physical
lot.
eggs?
The one
Is
I'm
that like
looking
an
at is
original?
60 bucks. No, it's
That was
looks good.
Tamagotchi on whatever that is,
Yeah.
as opposed to just Tamagotchi.
For me,
I'm
as
just
like
gonna get the app.
as a latter day '90s kid, 1998, It was the Webkins was the big thing.
Oh, I
Yes.
was thinking of
Club
that too.
Webkins,
Club Penguin.
I'm not.
Oh,
Literally, I was about to say
Penguin.
that.
We found something Devon's.
original RuneScape.
Now
Those
they got an
things-
app for that though.
Those things that it was like a card, and it was a ball, and you rolled the ball at the card, and then it busted open, and it was like a thing. Do you remember that? What are those called?
No.
Bakugan. It was Bakugan. Do you remember? the
Oh, that's a
Bakugan?
yeah. I know. I've
was a big
heard of
one.
that.
about-
We actually
Beyblades?
Yeah,
You guys
we just
ever-
bought a
yes,
Beyblade.
dude,
We
Beyblades.
just bought an arena off Amazon.
Oh,
So
that's
now
awesome.
We've got
And-
Beyblades
and-
in our house.
And I do want to point out for context that Matt literally just turned 25 today. And
Oh.
yes,
Hey,
he
happy
bought a-
birthday!
He bought a
Hap-
Beyblade.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Yeah.
birthday
Are you guys gonna have like
to
Beyblade
you.
tournaments now?
Happy
Oh, yeah.
Yes, drinking.
You should-
Yeah.
Beyblade.
We should have a social distancing Beyblade Spirit of the Bear 90s Kids tournament.
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's figure it out.
We could
Let's
live
do it.
stream it.
That would be
Okay.
sick.
We could.
Live stream it for
Oh
the
my
kids.
god.
I'm
That would be
all
so
about that.
cool.
All right.
Yeah, that's a date.
Big Beyblade fight.
Yeah, wow! I can't believe it's your birthday and you're doing our podcast. So
Yeah. Here I am.
incredible.
I
Thank
mean, it's
you.
quarantine. You know, what else? What else is going
Speaking
on?
with other humans is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
A lot of fun.
I feel like the moment I got on this podcast, I like got this breath of life. I was just like, other people.
That's true. Yeah. Wow.
I feel like that is a great place to just
Yeah,
end.
that was a good
And
wrap up. 8:51.
Yeah.
Crisp
Destroy
50-minute
this feeling that we have.
Well, thank you guys so much for having us on, and we're extremely excited to hear what's next from you guys, the next single, and then leading into the album and the video for that next single sounds really cool as well. So
Yeah, I really talked it up. I hope it turns out as good as I wanted it
Dude,
to.
the video for Summer Snow is sick.
Thank
it's
you.
Super cool.
Thank
Well shot too.
That was a fun
And
one.
The album artwork is like really
Yeah, the
cool.
art's
Big
dope.
ups to that dude.
That was owe it all to
guy.
Nick Dapolito.
Yeah.
Music
Yeah, and
video
we'll be
I directed,
good.
so I'll take all the credit for that.
But like one day when this is all over in 2025 or whenever the hell that's going to be, like, we need to hit a Columbus venue and play together again.
Absolutely.
Miss it a lot.
Hell yeah.
I hear that.
yeah, and we'll be looking out for those end
next-
of the year singles coming
Next
out.
90s kids singles.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Thank
they're
you guys.
coming in hot.
Soon.
Coming in hot.
Thank you guys for an incredibly fun episode. What song should we play at the end of this? I assume "Freak Me Out." We talked about it for quite a bit.
Let's go with Freak Me Out.
16.
Freak Me Out would be incredible.
All right, this is "Freak Me Out" by 90s Kids. Let's do a clap out. Thank you, 90s Kids.
Woo! Good job, everybody. We did it. Woo! Nice.
Don't say you love me, take it easy now. Thought we were playing it cool. First date, margaritas on a Thursday. You were talking about our kids' names. Laugh it off and we'll pretend we're just too drunk. Yeah. First kiss, I was back on my bullshit. You were saying you want forever, more than ever. I should have known. You really freak me out. You say you love me, take it easy now. Thought we were playing it cool. Can't keep my hands off you, it scares me to death. You know you freak me out. So much for playing it cool. Hold up, said you love me after 1 month. Reciprocate and we can move on. We both know that we're having so much fun. Yeah. What's next after romance dies? What's left? Moving on with life. I should have said it sooner. Let's just be friends. You really freak me out. You say you love me, take it easy now. Thought we were playing it cool. Can't keep my hands off you, black dress, baby. My friends try to tell me that you're certified crazy. What a shame, baby, shame. What a shame, baby, shame. You're just a red flag hiding in a black dress, baby. My friends try to tell me that you're certified crazy. What a shame, baby, shame. What a shame, baby, shame. You really freak me out. Don't say you love me, take it easy now. Thought we were playing, you really freak me out. Don't say you love me, take it easy now. Thought we were playing it cool. Can't keep my hands off you, it scares me to death. You know you freak me out. So much for playing it cool.
That might be the end of the video right there.